We need both Democrats and Republicans and American citizens to get behind an effort to fix the problem that we're showing to America. It's our problem. Just because you might live up in, I don't know, New York or Minnesota or Oregon, this border affects all of us because the drug trafficking and the MS-13 gang members and the sex trafficking manages to go all across America.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Less than a click away, right over our shoulders, you can wade across the Rio Grande. There could be MS-13 gangs on their way over. All these people right here are enjoying this beautiful weather and beautiful beach, and there's absolutely nothing from stopping cartel members, drugs, gang members from walking right down this beach and basically doing whatever they want to right here to these people unsuspecting. Mexico's basically less than a click away right over that berm. There's no wall, there's no fence.
Hello Team Ducote and Team OBC, this is producer Dustin here. I hope all of you have watched parts 1 and 2 of Border War, our border series that you funded through Operation Border Command and DouglasDucote.com. We thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. It's our honor and our privilege to bring you the truth about what's really happening in our country. Right now, we are driving down to the most southeast part of our border. It's where the Rio Grande, which is our U.S.-Mexico border marking line, meets up with the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of people have asked us to show the terrain, so we are.
We've made it to the farthest point southeast that you can get with Texas and Mexico. Behind us is the Gulf of Mexico, and back over our left shoulder is Mexico itself. You know, the thing that's disheartening about this is that there's absolutely nothing stopping someone from walking right down this beach and into America.
So the yellow line you're looking at on the map is the road we took, and what you're going to see here is a red circle on the far left in the bottom of the screen. That is a Border Patrol checkpoint that leads all the way down to the beach. And right now, above that yellow line, you're going to see the Rio Grande, which again is the U.S.-Mexico border. And then below the yellow line, you're going to see a green line. That's actually a water channel. And what I'm going to show you is that the U.S.-Mexico border is completely unsecured. Now, in our investigation in Brownsville, all the way to McAllen, and then in Brooks County, we've already shown you that it's unsecure. You could walk right up to the Rio Grande. But here's the checkpoint you're going to look at. That's Border Patrol checkpoint. So that's about 10 miles inland from the beach. And what I'm going to show you now is the yellow line. That's the route we drove. That's the road coming down to the beach, where you're going to see some video from the beach momentarily. And then this red line here is where you'd have to walk from the Rio Grande up the beach. Once you get over the Rio Grande, you're automatically in the United States. That's about 1.5 miles up the beach, and you're at the road. And then the orange line will take you to the channel where you could trek through on foot.
With me is our #1 guy in security, Mike. Mike, I know you've been down here many times, especially, you know, helping support border operations. Did you see anything that I found shocking that you found shocking?
From a security standpoint, it is an absolute nightmare trying to stop anybody who really doesn't want to come across legally. The problem is they're putting a Band-Aid on an artery wound. You cannot do just apply pressure. You cannot do just put a Band-Aid on it. You have to do several things to stop a major bleeding artery. And what they're doing, they don't have enough people to do it with in this vast amount of area that we have just in Texas. I'm not 100% sure what they deal with in New Mexico, but just in Texas, they don't have enough people, they don't have enough assets, they don't have enough infrastructure.
We're actually still driving down to the beach, but you're going to see this low brush. It's very similar low brush to what we saw up Highway 281 when we took you to Brooks County to meet Sheriff Benny Martinez.
One of the most, from everything I hear from people down south of here, as well as in Brownsville, probably the best sheriff Texas has ever seen.
And Doc Vickers, a rancher, a veterinarian, and a landowner who runs the Texas Border Volunteers, a militia that patrols private land and helps Border Patrol with catching illegal aliens.
They come into where the checkpoint is, they drop them off, they go out, spread out across the roads into the private property to try and get past that checkpoint and then get picked up. And that's where these guys come in at, where they try and see where they're at on their land and make sure that they don't get very far and they get apprehended. And if they need medical help, they give them medical help and call in medics and whatnot. And and the Border Patrol comes and intercepts and takes it from there. So without gentlemen like this, well, we would have even a way worse problem than we already have, because they're able to stop a lot of that traffic.
Over to the right here, we're looking at above the tree line. That's where Mexico is. That's the Rio Grande above the tree line. So you can see it's wide open. It's completely unpatrolled. What we noticed in parts of going up to Brooks County on 281, Mike, who's in the passenger seat there, is a security expert. He served with Doug. He's built entrance-exit systems for the military bases and knows all about security. He pointed out blimps where they had cameras hanging off them in large fields going up 281. We didn't see any blimps here. Frankly, the only security we saw was the checkpoint 10 miles up.
We loan them our night vision equipment. Well, they'll come out and they 4 agents might have one piece, and we'll give them our night vision equipment, or we'll accompany them and point out where these guys are. There they are, buried up over there, and they'll go in and make the apprehension. So they don't have the resources and the equipment and the manpower to get it done.
Over to the left, I just want to point this out. That's Elon Musk's rocket ship program. He actually had 3 different bases along this road. I don't want to get into Elon Musk, but I just wanted to show you guys this because it was interesting. And as you're going to see, he's got fences all around his property, including a 3-piece barbed wire on the top of the fence. And sadly, the moral of this story is that down on our border, especially what we're going to show you at the beach, he has more border security than we do, to be honest. And that's pretty much along the Rio Grande in the areas we investigated. There are some 2007, 2008 George W. Bush slat systems in place, but they're about a half mile to a mile above the Rio Grande, north of the Rio Grande.
It creates a no man's land between the fence and the river that, the Border Patrol have told some of my clients, don't go down there without a bulletproof vest on, okay?
Basically, once these people touch our land, we can't deport them anyway. So it does no good where that barrier system is. We did not see any new Trump wall, and they are not building it in that area right now. So again, we're still driving down to the beach. That's Mike in the passenger seat. Doug's obviously driving. And off to the right here again, see that black line? That's kind of low swamp with the water because it had rained. But above that black line is the Rio Grande. So right over that black line is Mexico. My guess, based on the map, that's about 1.5 miles. And over to the left, this is U.S. There's kind of swampland, but there's a channel back there. So it's very easy to track up the channel, trek up the area we're looking at or get driven by traffickers, hop out after this marshland and go around the checkpoint on foot. That's the reality of the situation. The cartels know it and everyone else. So now we're down at the beach. Look where the truck is driving. That's U.S. territory. I'm on U.S. territory filming this. Over to the right, 1.5 miles down, that's where the Rio Grande dumps into the Gulf. So it's not secured down there. I'm going to show you on the map, and I'm going to show you some drone footage. Unlike the videos you've probably seen in San Diego, where there's a barrier that juts out into the water, they don't have one here. So you can literally walk up the beach, and right up here to where we are, we're parked there, that's not Border Patrol, and get picked up by a trafficker. So here it is on the map. That little area you saw on the top was the road. We're coming right down the beach line. That's where you were just looking at on video. And as we come down this beach line here, you're going to see when we hit the white line, that's where the Rio Grande dumps into the Gulf, which is to the right. So there's no barrier, and you'll see on the drone footage here, that's that same area. And as we turn, you're going to see, here we go. This is where the Rio Grande dumps into the Gulf. Now, if you go up about 1 mile up the Rio Grande, you can literally walk across. But they're building rafts, they're putting tires in the water, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've heard all kinds of stories from Border Patrol we talked to off the record. So basically, you come up the beach, and this is if you decide not to trek through the marsh. You can come up the beach.
If you did happen to have, I don't know, a few dollars in your pocket, the hell with walking across, just get a freaking boat and come right across and beach it right here at night and walk in. Let the boat go. You know, you can pick up a small boat at any major sporting goods place in America for $1,000. Just imagine, you know, what you could buy one for in Mexico or anywhere down south.
Literally walk up. The white truck facing us is our truck we rented. You can get in the car with a trafficker and literally drive 10 miles up. That's where the checkpoint is.
You could have the coyotes pick you up right here. There is a checkpoint probably about 7 clicks down the road, just past Elon Musk's SpaceX program that is pretty much dominating most of the real estate on this peninsula. There is a checkpoint, but just like everything else, there's ways to get around it.
Yep.
But how vast it is and how open it is just completely surprising. From a security standpoint, it's a nightmare.
You just basically jump out of the car before the checkpoint, make your way through that high brush, and come around the other side of the checkpoint. It's the same game they're playing when we go between McAllen and Brownsville and then going up through 281 to circumvent the checkpoint.
What we have here is a very unique situation where we're kind of like the hub as far as the last line of defense. As you get the narcotics, as you get the people, either from the Brownsville area all the way down to the Starr County, Zapata area, and they all filter into Brooks County. And a lot of it has to do just because of the way the formation is to transport him up north. Our checkpoint, one of the largest checkpoints in the Southwest Corridor, the busiest. Then what they'll do, they'll get dropped off prior to the checkpoint where they're doing narcotics, backpacking, or people. So they circumvent the checkpoint. And while they're doing that, this is where you have these folks that are laid up in stash houses where they're already coming up injured, denied the elements that they need as far as food, water, etc. So they die, so we recover them. Then you have your gangs that come in from Houston, that what I refer to as transportation cells, pick them up and transport them back to Houston. From Houston, then they'll go into other cities, whether it be I would say the East Coast, the Midwest, or back west, back towards the California area, Colorado. So this is the hub.
That checkpoint is 75 miles in. This one was a small checkpoint about 10 miles in, and then there's another checkpoint on our way out to Houston, which is a major trafficking hub, which is about a 5-hour drive from there. But that checkpoint, which I'll show you in this video as well, that checkpoint, you know, to me it's useless once you get 75 miles in because they're already here. So now we're actually driving back out from the beach because we're going to show you the little checkpoint that's 10 miles up. Again, take a look to the left. Imagine this from a trafficker's perspective or an illegal who's coming in. On the right and left, the right side, again, there's a channel about a mile away. You can trek up there. You can come right through this low brush. There's no balloons with camera systems, nothing. We didn't see Border Patrol patrolling this area over. And again, for everyone who's going to say, why are you showing this? You're helping the cartel. The cartel knows this. Go on Google, look up stories. So much of the law enforcement is corrupt. They busted a bunch of sheriffs down there for helping with human and drug trafficking. So we're not telling them anything they don't know. The point of this is to let you know the truth and know that our country isn't secure and that we need to demand action. And we need to stop blaming Democrats and rhinos and Congress. There are steps President Trump could take. He ran on Build the Wall. We want to help him get it done. And I think he needs to stop relying on some of the people in the White House. But look at this brush, how thick it is, and how you can just walk right through there completely unnoticed. And remember, the Border Patrol doesn't know what an illegal is because we're getting illegals from all over the place. Now here we go. This is the little checkpoint that was 10 miles up. We're going to come through here, and then I'm going to show you real quick what the back side of that looks like as we go through. So basically they have a drug dog that goes around the car. That's it. They don't search the car. So then you come here, boom, that's the checkpoint. It's real tiny. I apologize for the video being a little bumpy. So there was a little sign there of most wanted, all Hispanic guys. So again, look off into the distance. The tree line there, that's where the channel is. So if you wanted to circumvent the checkpoint on foot, you'd walk up that channel. There's no border checkpoint up that channel. Mike, again, who's a security expert, he checked that for us. There's no checkpoint on that side. So you make your way through the brush, you get past the checkpoint, you get picked up again, and now all you got to do is go another 50 to 75 miles up to the next checkpoint on your way to Houston, which is the next trafficking hub. And again, these people are getting stashed along the way. They all made deals with the cartel, as Sheriff Martinez confirmed for us.
There's a lot of those type of families that are trying to leave their countries because of a bad way of living, but they're getting tangled up into the criminal aspect of it just because the cartels run the whole show.
So they're basically indentured servants to the cartel, which makes them cartel. So they're going to end up either, being prostitutes, pimping their sister, running safe houses, running drugs for the cartel.
Once they're stashed in a home down along the border, they're kept there until funds start arriving, so they can get that particular criminal gangs to get their monies before they're filtered up north to my area. And then from here, when they get to Houston, they're held up again, so they can get the rest of the monies. So they're being held for labor. They're being held for whatever is the necessity that particular gang needs them to do. So either they're going to go work for them or they're going to go prostitute, whatever the case might be.
It's the sad reality of the situation, but it is what it is. I mean, they work for the cartel. All these stories about, families fleeing and they're running from their mud huts, it's just completely untrue. They make deals with the cartel to get here, and therefore they work for the cartel. As you'll see now past the checkpoint, we're looking at some residential area. So now you guys have an understanding of the scope, and as we keep pushing, we're putting forward a solution. There's going to be angel families, sheriffs, law enforcement, veterans getting on board with this. We are proposing a rapid deploy system like a TerraBlock. Doesn't have to be. If someone has another company, bring it forward to us. A smart technology vibration system so we know when people are trying to breach it. And then armed National Guard under the President's command, under active duty orders. We want at least 25,000, a team of 6 to 12 every mile as rapid response teams. The Sheriff Martinez endorsed it.
Along with those barriers, you will need those response teams to appear. You're going to need those boots on the ground. You're going to need all of that implemented simultaneously because that's what it's going to entail. As soon as you hear something go off, as soon as the camera picks something up, you definitely need the human element to go look at it, what's coming across or what they're looking at.
Chris Cabrera, head of the Border Patrol Union, vice president and spokesman, endorsed it.
I'd love to work with them. I'd love to have them down here. It's unfortunate that it's gotten to that point, but I think that would be something to explore if they would take the handcuffs off them and let them get out there and play. As far as the wall system's concerned, I mean, on the surface, sounds great.
You know, these guys want it. We have to help them. You know, we talk to a lot of people. These are supposed to be the honest ones. So let's get them what they need. They endorsed armed National Guard, and so do we. I mean, that's important. We need to deploy that tomorrow and then get Terra Block into place. And we need to do this before the 2020 election. So now what you're looking at is the checkpoint, which is about 50 to 75 miles from that last checkpoint on our way to break out on the highway to Houston. Again, this is just a final drug search. They have a dog come around your car and search for drugs. As we come through the checkpoint, you're going to see they were searching, a Hispanic guy in pajama pants, and they had him up against the car, and they have him open up the trunk. I don't know if they thought there were drugs or anything else, but I just want you to see this checkpoint and how it operates, so that you understand. I mean, this is it. This is the last line of defense, about 75 miles from the border, from that beach, before people are home free in America. And there it is. That was the guy in his pajama pants, and as you're going to see, he's going to open up the trunk of his car. You know, we don't know what that is. Could have been routine. But folks, we need a barrier, we need National Guard, and then we got to push for the wall that we were promised. God bless you all.
The past few days have been eye-opening. We've had the opportunity to speak with Sheriff's Department, border agents, state police. We've been on the border. We've met with family members. The people that live there have lived there all their life. We've heard their stories, and we hope that if nothing else, the American people will realize that this entire border, besides just build a wall, it is a humanitarian crisis. There are over 700 people that have died in just this one county since 2009. Right now they're averaging about 40 deaths a month, and that's the week out of the group of people trying to come across that they just leave behind and they can't make it anymore. They don't have enough water to carry them as they truck across the land trying to get to America. We need both Democrats and Republicans and American citizens to get behind an effort to fix the problem that we're showing to America. It's our problem. Just because you might live up in, I don't know, New York or Minnesota or Oregon, this border affects all of us, because the drug trafficking and the MS-13 gang members and the sex trafficking manages to go all across America.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.